Brandon Hunt, thank you.
Yeah.
I told
thank
I told you we'll do a proper intro
Yeah.
before, but I just wanted to kind of get into it. But again, thanks for being here. Really interested to have a conversation with you. I mean, everybody that we run into, talks about you and what you guys have done here in Austin.
Yeah.
Very well respected entrepreneur, restaurateur. So, it's our pleasure this morning.
Thank you for having me.
I want to start off. I came across a quote last week from a guy named Robert Greene, he's an author, 48 Laws of Power and The Art of Seduction and Human Nature. And he said, to really know somebody, never get distracted by people's glamorous portraits of themselves or their lives. Search for and dig for what really imprisons them.
Mm-hmm.
So, Brandon, what
Oh
what
boy,
im-
you
what
weren't
im-
kidding. Maybe
Well, you needed to
I need to lay down. You weren't lying.
What?
Oh, we were talking about construction.
Oh, we're gonna get there.
Same thing.
What are you thinking about right now? Like, what are you grinding on? What are you focused on right now in this stage of your journey?
Yeah. I'm really, again, I'm in a really good position right now financially, right? So I spent the first 40 years stressing about money. We grew up really poor. Didn't have much growing up. So now I've gotten in this position where we've sold our company. So really I've been spending the last 2 years focused on like mental health, trying to lose weight. I got up to 300, so I'm down to 250. And just trying to take care of myself and kind of, I know as cheesy as it sounds, kind of a little bit of self-love because it's just been kind of a survivor float for the last 40 years.
Yeah.
And that is top of mind. I'm in therapy 3 days a week.
Okay.
Couples, group, and personal. And then I'm in I'm in the gym 5 days a week. I know it doesn't look like it, but
Yeah.
we're starting from ground zero. So
Yeah.
but yeah, really just focused on taking care of myself and being out. And then another thing, being a better boyfriend, just realizing how destruction, again, I'm a very destructive person with it, whether it be, I think the worst thing I ever did was open a bar with your friends too. So, kind of learning to appreciate the bar and not take it for granted and,
Yeah.
and again, be present in my own relationship with my girlfriend because it's just been a party for the last 40 years. So
Have you, well, all of us owning our own businesses, how do you manage now to keep separation? Like what is that balance?
Well, I mean, we got so many good people. Via's got 1,300 people now, so I'm almost in the way at this point. I could go into any of the restaurants and I don't think they know who I am. Mm-hmm. So I have a lot of free time now. Yeah. And even then, all my new deals that I'm doing, because I have 3 projects opening in the next 6 months, all those I kind of carve out a little time for myself, kind of don't call me after 5. I'm getting a little bit more protective of this. Yeah. It was a big source of pride to be able that you could call me at midnight and I'd answer. You'd call me at 6 a.m. I'd answer. And again, it's just not healthy for my relationship with my girlfriend. It's not fair to her. So yeah, kind of putting boundaries. So even all my new projects, I'm not taking on more than what I can do between 9 and 5 and just trying to slow down.
Yeah.
But it's hard. I know you guys, we all run. If you own a company, I assume you run 100 miles an hour.
Absolutely.
And that's when you thrive.
Yeah.
And I'm the same way, but it's just like I need to learn how to thrive more healthy.
How do you fill the tank, because if you run on empty or if you're running all the time, then essentially you're half speed on everything.
Yeah. And how do you find appreciation? Coming from Detroit, a lot of our value and self-worth is wrapped up in our work.
Yeah.
And when you're going, I'm not going to work as much. I'm going to go to the farmer's market. Like all that stuff doesn't come natural to me.
Yeah.
I'd rather be at work. So I'm trying to learn how to appreciate going to the farmer's market or going on a road trip. And it's hard, man. You got to figure out what I like and don't like still.
Sure. Well, you brought up Detroit. We wanted to kind of dive into that a little bit.
Detroit's awesome city.
It's such a great city.
Yeah, I've been there a couple
What
times.
does it mean to be from Detroit? And what did you bring
It gives
with
me
you?
the chills just you saying that.
Yeah.
That's what it means to me.
Okay.
It's like such a I can't think of too many cities where you could say that you're from and people want to talk to you for 10 minutes about it.
Absolutely.
And, it's just, it's one of those places. I think you got to have a tour guide because everything is kind of spread out and there's little pockets of just amazingness. But it is, I feel like in Austin, you could just park your car and have a good time. Doesn't matter what neighborhood you're in. But it's just, it's a beat down city, but everybody keeps their head high. And there's so much pride in your work and in your property. You walk around, these people's houses are just spotless and they've lived in them for 100 years. And it's just a lot of pride in where you're from and who you are.
Yeah.
And I feel that I carry that with me every day.
Yeah.
It's a great place.
Yeah.
Just no more winters.
Yeah, that's true. Do you go back often?
I do. I still made it to 11 Tiger games this year.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
So that is a huge thing that I love. Red Wings, Tigers, we still live and die by our sports team. So up there quite a bit.
Yeah. The city, from an architect or a master plan perspective, is always in the conversation, right? Because there's so much opportunity because of the
Vast land
stride
available.
and the vast land, and what to do and how to do it, and
It's not cheap now anymore either.
yeah, right. And I'm curious. It's got to be evolving every year. In terms of the different neighborhoods and master plan, everything that could happen should be happening.
Yeah.
But slowly, I understand. But I'm sure it's for better or worse, perhaps from your perspective. Whenever you go back, and do you still feel that it's still got the
It's
culture
becoming
and the
like
nature?
Austin a little bit. Yeah, it is kind of losing its way a little bit. At least downtown, it's there's scooters everywhere, and there's $1,000 a night hotels. So it's become a little bit like Austin, where it's priced out a lot of people, and it's hard to enjoy the same way. But there's still good pockets. Like you can still go get a $3 Coney dog downtown and still get a good slice of pizza for $2. And so there's still good pockets down there. But all the new stuff is expensive, and that's selling, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't.
And you guys, so I thought it was interesting too. They went back and you reopened your old hangout pizza spot, right?
Yeah. So our grandparents grew up at Frank's. This is in Wyandotte, so about 10 minutes south of Detroit.
Yeah.
Frank's been around since 1952. Our grandparents grew up there. My parents grew up there. We grew up there. We were in there eating lunch one day, and their third generation family owning it, and they just said they were done. And we asked if we could consult with them because we didn't want it to go away. And they were like, "We're done. Just buy it off of us." So we came to a good deal where they could go retire, and we could buy all the recipes and even pitch. It's so weird to buy pictures of other people's families, but like I wanted it to be like they did all this. We didn't do anything. We're just trying to keep it going and do them proud. But yeah, it's been cool.
Did you guys change it at all, or is it you honor what it was?
The week before we bought it, somebody fell through the ceiling, so we had to change it. And it was a body
Too big of a
imprint
party.
through the ceiling. And it was, they had ran out of money, so it needed a little bit of love.
Yeah.
I still had carpet in there, and I actually like carpet in restaurants, but other people don't. But yeah, we kind of made it try to feel like 1950, but also so it's like a mid-century modern kind of feel in there. It came out nice. It's just a little neighborhood spot, does $700,000 a year, so it's not like it pays its bills. That's about it.
Yeah, but you spent a lot of time there growing up, I guess.
Yeah, it's my favorite pizza.
Yeah,
and it's just a hand-tossed pizza. It's no tricks or gimmicks going on. It's just a pizza place. But
yeah,
it's pretty interesting. I was thinking about it driving over. It's one of the recipes that we love the most, right? It's readily available. There's a lot of different pizza shops. Everybody's trying it, but there's probably only a small handful that do it right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so to reach that is, I would imagine it's pretty gratifying because I'm a lover of the 1313 and I'm gluten free and we cannot find any good. It's rare that we stumble upon a good gluten-free pizza.
Yeah.
And so
I think it's just giving a shit.
Yeah, I guess so.
Because because it's easy. You could just go buy pre-made gluten-free pizzas and go, here, we have gluten-free pizza. But my niece is gluten-free and our celiac, and she my brother kind of made it his mission to make the world's best gluten-free, or at least his rendition of it. And I think he did a good job.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you can taste like somebody cared about this.
Absolutely. I mean, I will get it all the time, and it's like biscuits. Man, I miss biscuits. So I would always research these biscuit recipes. Now I make them at home because I just miss them.
Yeah.
Can't ever find them.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard because you not to. I know this isn't a pizza podcast, but you lose the gluten.
Whatever.
Gluten's what keeps it together, right? So
Yeah.
it's hard to make a nice biscuit without a ton of gluten in it.
Yeah.
No, you're right. But I mean, it's like all of our worlds. There's a lot of different architecture. There's obviously a lot of different GCs or construction going about, but there's only a handful that are doing it well. And whatever that means, I mean, that's probably subjective.
Well, he hit the nail on the head a second ago when he says we give a shit.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? We talk about this a lot. In fact, we were just interviewing somebody last night, and they were like, well, what's your ideal candidate possess? And we're like, well, it's somebody that gives a shit.
Yeah.
And it's crazy how rare that is. You know what I mean?
I feel like it's more now than ever.
Yeah.
Not to make it a generational thing, but
Well,
I have hope. I have hope for the 16-year-olds until like 21. We're at least in the pizza scene, we're seeing a lot of good young kids come in.
Yeah.
But in between that, it's tough.
Yeah. How do you cultivate that? I mean, because that's part of your brand, it's part of your culture, right? And as you grow and do other things, like how do you think about maintaining that caring attitude and because you got to try to hire for it, you got to try to maintain it and develop. Like, how do you think about that?
I mean, honestly, because we're opening, Via's opening a store every month right now.
Yeah.
We're just blanket canvassing. I mean, you hire 500 people, 300 make it through training, 200 decide they want to keep the job, and then we want 150 of them, and then you just keep doing that all over again. I know it sounds, and then we have great management too, though, that kind of cultivate. I'm not that guy. I'm not the culture guy. I'm the grumpy old man. That's it's best that I'm not around usually because I'm not much of a culture. I want it, but I don't.
Yeah.
Again, I'm in therapy for this reason. I was raised in the restaurant scene where you were just shy of beaten to death by the owner, and that's how he got you to work.
It's a tough.
And he was. I mean, I remember him locking me in the room. With Ajax and bleach, which is can kill you.
Yeah,
that's right. With no mask.
And I just remember I can't figure out why I can't breathe.
For some reason. I don't know what it is.
But that floor was fucking spotless.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the way I'm wired, and that just doesn't work right. It shouldn't work. Honestly, I'm aware of that.
Yeah.
But that's how I'm wired is to really beat people down, and I'm trying to, it's just not healthy to be like that, but that's how I was raised.
I don't know. I mean, but there's
Listen,
yeah. I mean,
I could go all day about.
You got to hold people accountable.
Idea.
I mean, again, it is a generational thing a little bit because we come from a different era than I'm imagining the three of us are around the same age.
Yeah.
And I learned a lot of the same lessons the same way, and that was my dad. That was the one really holding me to account. And it is interesting now that you can't really do that today, but still you got to instill a value of work ethic and accountability and all that. And it's different now, And
there's pieces of it that we have to teach in order to create work ethic and value and just that pride in what you do.
Yeah, and that's why I say a lot of it falls on us too, right? Like we're not. I remember this guy. I mean, he's passed away, Jim Orlando, same guy. He taught me how he wanted me to mop the floor, not how you mop the floor. This is how I want you to mop the floor. And I don't know if we do the same job. Like we just hire kids and we go mop the floor, and then we get mad at them because they don't know how to mop the floor. And like I don't see that going on a lot too within my own company. Yeah, the actual like slowing down. Because we're all running 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
So, I can take the blame for a lot of the lack of results within my own company is we don't slow down to show you how we want you to mop the floor. We assume you should know how to mop the floor.
Yeah.
And, that's something I've noticed within our own company.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. It goes both ways.
I'm interested when you guys, 2011, when you guys were in the trailer, what back then, what did you think you wanted? Or what did you want?
No, that was it. We wanted a restaurant, but I remember opening the trailer. I was making $250 a week and cash. I left a $100,000 a year bar gig in Detroit to come open a food truck to make $250 a week. And my brother wasn't paying himself. He had a day job, so he was making his living. And we figured out we had to do $200 a day to pay all the bills, which was basically water, gas, electric, and rent, and myself $250. So we had to do $200 a day to pay for everything. We opened that first day and we did $212. And I just remember thinking, like, I don't think I ever have to go find another job again. This is amazing. And that just shows you how I don't know, immature, or just how it just was so easy at the time. Because that's all I cared about, was I didn't have to make another resume and go look for another job. It was like, this is it. This is my only thing I have to worry about tomorrow is opening the food truck. And that was awesome, man. I look back at those days and I talk about the schedule that I was on, wake up at noon, go grocery shopping because we weren't busy enough to get a food order, get all the vegetables and everything prepped, open at 5, work till 2 a.m., go home, eat dinner with my girlfriend at 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, count the paper tickets because we didn't have a POS system, and go to bed at like 4:30 and wake up at noon and do it all over again. It sounds awful, but all I remember is it being the best time of my life.
Yeah.
And I really do feel like it took like 2 years of selling my soul or really grinding it out to set myself up for the rest of my life.
Yeah. What do you take from that today? Like, what do you, what
There's a
lessons?
sacrifice, again, very touchy subject for a lot of people, because I think there is a movement to get away from hustle culture and sacrifice. But man, I can't think of too many stories that didn't come with some sacrifice.
Yeah.
And I try to be sensitive to, again, the anti-hustle culture. But my God, I would do it all over again in a heartbeat. So again, a very old way of thinking. I love grinding it out. I love, I just remember sitting there missing all the concerts that I wanted to go to and going, one day it's going to pay off. I know it will.
Yeah.
And, so I think there's a lot of sacrifice that comes with it.
Yeah.
What made you leave Detroit to come here?
To do this. Yeah, I was 29, 30, working at the bar, and I just remember partying one night with, it was like a Hooters nightclub type bar. I just remember partying with a bunch of 21-year-old girls that night going, I'm like the old creepy guy. Like, I'm not as cool as I think I am probably. And I just started thinking about what am I going to do? I'm going to be 30. I'm not really good at anything. I know how to run a bar. That's it. And my brother was down here in Austin. And he was like, man, the people are waiting. And this is not a shot at Home Slice, but it's just the way we grew up. He was like, man, people are waiting 2 hours and paying like $30 for pizza that
I know.
is like gas station pizza to us in Detroit. Essentially New York pizza is dollar slice pizza. And Home Slice kills it. They do a great job with everything. They're mentors of ours. But he was just like, man, the pizza scene is rough here, man. They need more pizza, and they don't have the pizza we grew up eating. So he was like, why don't you come down here? I can, help out. But, he's more like the tech tinkerer. He's came up with most of the recipes, and I'm like the day-to-day operations guy. So I came down here to do this.
And before, so did y'all connect before you moved here did you always make pizza, or did you?
He always did.
Okay.
Yeah, I kid. I probably made one pizza for every 20 that he did. He worked from home. So, and I think he's naturally a tinkerer. I'm not. I want like instant results. So, I have a hard time when I make a pizza and it doesn't come out right. I'm like, we're done. I don't want to do this anymore. So it was good. We're good. We're good together like that.
Well, I've got a couple more questions, but I was also thinking, do you think that, knowing that you guys started in a truck, and what food trucks were back then, do y'all think that the food truck culture is still that strong as it once was, or has it phased out to a degree that?
Yeah. The city makes it harder for sure. Yeah. It's harder now than ever to own and operate a food truck. And it's good stuff too. I don't,
the city of Austin
specifically. Yeah. But I mean, it's all good. It's for really the betterment of the community, right? Like you don't want people just dumping their dirty water in the sewer system and stuff. So, but it is hard because then you got to find somebody. Not a lot of people coming out getting gray water from your food truck. So it's just a lot of weird technicalities to be safe and operate at a high level every day. You got to think the food truck for us at the peak was doing $1.5 million a year, so it's operating like a restaurant in a little food truck. So it's just not really. My quick answer is like no. I think it's dying, but then I see Veracruz and so many great taco trucks just killing it all the time. So I think there's still a good market.
I was also wondering if we deal with the city of Austin all the time, and it is difficult. And I know the rules and codes have changed.
Yeah.
But has that culture moved to another city? Did it because of the fact that it's a little bit easier to set up shop? And
I think other cities are trying.
Yeah.
I think a lot of there's a imitation of what Austin was doing a few years ago.
Yeah.
But I don't, I think San Antonio has a few pockets that are pretty strong. Houston's got a little bit, but it's not
like here.
Not like here.
Yeah. I guess it's the communities supported that food truck culture that made it so rare.
And I think our footprint is small enough where we can people can navigate where, again, San Antonio and Houston, they kind of stay in their pockets.
True. You see any other concepts out there that could make the leap out of a food truck into brick and mortar? And
well, I'm sure there's a million of them. I'm definitely guilty of not eating at a lot of food trucks. But, Veracruz always comes top of mind. I think they do such a great job. And I know they have a restaurant, I think. Yeah. But I'm such a creature of habit. I go to the same 5 spots every day.
Yeah, same here. Well, I was going to say, whenever you move from a food truck to a brick and mortar, what were the things that you want to carry over? Obviously, good food, but talking about culture, talking about work ethic, talking about even spatially.
Yeah.
When you build out that store, it's so different.
Yeah, so Oak Hill was our first restaurant, and we wanted it to feel like it had been there for 100 years. So how do you make something feel like dirty and old, but also not like make somebody feel like they need to take a shower after they leave? Mm-hmm. And I think we nailed it there. Our architect at the time, our designer, they did it both for us. They did this big steel wall, so it looked like a Aerostream trailer when you walk in. And then over time, the walls kind of rusted and taken on some patina look, and it looks cool. It looks down and dirty, but it also it's just the wall's natural age. And then we wanted the floor to feel like a shop, So there was a lot of little subtle things that make it feel like a Detroit kind of vibe without kind of beating you over the head with Planet Hollywood type stuff, right? Like we could easily hang a car from the ceiling and say we're from Detroit, or put some bumpers on a wall or something stupid. So very subtle things. We use this mid-century green that was used in a lot of the Coney Islands back home that we grew up eating at. A lot of steel, a lot of metal. The whole ceiling is, I don't know what you call it, expanded metal, I think. We call it chicken steel.
That's true.
I'm sure there's a better name for it. But I wanted you to feel like you were walking into a cool shop, and it just happened to have pizza. Even the menus are like little shop books. Yeah. And the branding on them, Mark English did for us, nailed it. Was very old-timey parts box kind of feel. So a lot of old school subtle hints that maybe only people from Detroit might pick up on.
Yeah. How'd y'all choose the location?
That's a funny story too. Yeah, because we were a downtown brand. Yeah. We had one on 6th Street and one on Rainey Street at the time, and everybody thought of us as kind of like this drunk slice hangout place. And we've always wanted to just be a neighborhood pizza place. So we knew Jack Allen's out there in Oak Hill was doing crazy numbers. I assume 7, 8, 9 million. And, in a restaurant, if you could just get to 2 or 3 million, you're pretty happy. So knowing what Jack was doing out there and just seeing how supportive that community was, we wanted to get out there. We lost on the first one. It was Your Mom's Burgers. I don't know if you remember those. It was a really good burger place. They had done their first one outside of downtown, and it was a little 1,500 square foot like shotgun building. And we thought that'll be perfect. We'll do delivery carry out of that. That'll be the next progression for us. And somebody got it before us. We were second in line. We ended up losing it. And the broker on that was like, hey, this Mexican restaurant next door, which felt so big and greedy to us, 2,900 square feet. I was like, man, we're getting real cocky here. 2,900 square feet, from food truck to 2,900 square feet.
Yeah.
But they gave us a nice deal. We loved the intersection. We're at 290 and William Cannon there. And they left it for us. They were going to build their own restaurant. They'd been there for 20 years with Mexican food. So we thought, well, if they've been here for 20 years, Jack Allen's is killing it. I think we'll be all right. And, at stores, always north of 4 million.
Yeah.
Was it right out of the gate? Pretty.
Oh, my God, yeah. It's
Yeah, they're probably hungry out there. We'd drive all the way from where we live out there.
Yeah. It's just a great location. I mean, it's the perfect mix of a community. You're close enough to downtown, but people don't necessarily want to go downtown all the time. A lot of families, obviously. So it hits all the boxes for us.
Yeah.
And then the next one was campus. So we got real cocky. Then we were actually cocky. And we went and got a 4,800 square foot building, and we thought double the square footage, double the sales, and that's not how life works.
Yeah.
And
What's your perfect size now, you think?
well, I'd say like 3,500. Yeah, that's kind of the sweet spot for us. We've got some as high as 5,100 in Utah, and as low as, I think Oak Hill's still our smallest store.
Yeah.
So
That's a pretty common path because Torchy's was the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Started out-
small.
I mean, real similar story from the food
yeah.
truck, obviously. But when I got involved, it was like 2,000 square feet, 2,500 square feet. Then it went to 3,500 square feet. Then it went to 4,000, 4,500.
55, yeah.
what's their biggest one downtown?
No, well, the biggest one when I was involved
Yeah.
was in San Antonio. It was almost 8,000 feet.
That's crazy. I've never been to that one.
Yeah.
The one-
And then it started trending back down. Yeah. It's like, so I would think their average now is around 3,500 feet.
Yeah.
It's a sweet spot.
For us, Torch is a little bit different because, right, you're ordering at a counter. For us, when you walk into a restaurant, it doesn't matter what time of day you walk into Oak Hill, it feels kind of warm in there.
Yeah.
There could be nobody in there. There could be 100 people in there. It feels warm in there. When you go to campus, I don't know if it's the staggered terrain that we have in the restaurant that's just there when we got there. That's one of our bigger ones, 4,800 square feet. It always feels dead cold in there.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. We could have 100 people in there. It feels dead.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I like the warmth. I like it's tough to get in because what we've seen too is people will change their dining habits. They won't even come on Friday and Saturday at Oak Hill. They'll come on Tuesday and Wednesday. So we're stretching the week a little bit.
Yeah.
And so I like that sweet spot for us.
Mm-hmm. Do you guys spend a lot of time on the kitchen, like redesigning, counting steps, like that kind of thing?
I mean, we like to say that we did, but we didn't know what we were doing.
Yeah.
We took a lot of classes. We trained with Rudy's Barbecue, K&N Management here in town, and Pale's Sudden Service out in Tennessee. Trained with a lot of these people that are just high functioning. I think Pale's is doing like 2 or 3 million out of 1,000 square feet.
Yeah.
And they've optimized every little position, and we've tried, but we don't know what we're doing.
Yeah.
I think we just try to be mindful of it when we're doing it, but there's probably a better way for sure. Mm-hmm. Was Torchy's doing that kind of stuff?
Yeah, a little bit. When I was there was talks of bringing in consultants to really map out,
Yeah.
literally counting steps.
Yeah, like a spaghetti
Absolutely.
chart is what they call it, I think.
And we spent a lot of time with operations on the kitchen, But what was interesting is, as the footprint was growing, we started chasing revenue a little bit, right? So, I remember we opened up, Fort Worth was the first one that did over 100,000 a week. And everybody was like, "Oh wow, okay, this is interesting." And then we opened up Round Rock and Cedar Park, both did over 100,000 a week, and those had a little bit bigger kitchens. Because I remember them thinking, "Well, we're we got a little bit more money to play with, so let's put it into the kitchen. Let's really like optimize the kitchen." Which typically, what happens when you do that, the footprint grows, right?
Yeah.
We need different equipment. And then so the kitchen kept growing. until you kind of reach this point where we hit kind of a cap on.
Yeah, now you want to shrink it back down.
Yeah, let's make it more efficient.
Yeah.
So, we spent a lot of time, and then towards the end, one of the interesting things that came out of the private equity deal with Torchy's is that a different mindset came in with partnership, and operations got more involved in design and construction. And there was a little bit of this early on with that. But at the end, I really valued it personally because we were spending a lot of time with actual people that were on the line making tacos, getting their feedback. So we learned a lot from that.
That's kind of where we're at right now. Yeah. We're still getting feedback from the crew. And, because my brother and I basically designed the first 5 restaurants.
Yeah.
Bring on private equity. They have, they come in and picking things that stand out to them that they really like, that, from a consumer standpoint that they want to really focus on. So you add those things in there, and then, then you start getting feedback from the kitchen manager and how inefficient we are. And it's tough, man.
Yeah.
It is tough. You try to be mindful in that, let everybody chime in, but then you also got to give the customers a beautiful looking restaurant too.
Yeah.
And not waste square footage.
How do you think? You've got an architect and a contractor here, right? So we're maybe a little biased when it comes to design and the construction aspect of it. How did you think, or how do you think about design in a restaurant? Like, what do you think the ROI is of design in a restaurant?
Yeah, I'm going to probably say something pretty unpopular, especially with you guys. I don't care. Yeah. Give me a lunchroom table in the center of the room. The original Home Slice being the inspiration behind that idea of thinking. I mean, my God. I mean, we're doing a new project right now called Murray's over on East 7th Street here. And, I want it to be perfect. I want it to be beautiful. I want everybody to get what they want.
Yeah.
A lot of partners on this. We're sitting here mulling over what tint of green and what color the floor is. I mean, we'll spend days, and we're actually really efficient. This has been a really great project. But, it's all ego to me. It's like, you really think the 900 people that are going to come in here tomorrow really are going to pay attention to that tint of green that you just spent an hour going back and forth on?
Yeah.
Tell me what color the floor is in any of the Villas. You know what I mean? The floor at campus is one of the ugliest floors I've ever seen, and I've never heard a customer not come in because the floor was ugly.
Sure.
Because we took what was there and just used it. So before private equity, we could do a build out for $200,000 to $400,000, a full restaurant, equipment, everything, chairs, tables. Because we were buying restaurants that already had all the shit in it. We would just use it, get open for $400K. Get the investors paid off, get them out of here, and then slowly, if we really wanted new chairs or really wanted a different table, we would just buy it in while we're going instead of having this pre-opening expense. So I'm the least. I want the graphics to be right and the menu to be right and feel right, but as far as the design of the restaurant, I'm not too. My God, especially with private equity now, because they want things to be perfect. And there's one person's job is to nail this thing, and it's just like, I don't care, guys. I don't need a 2-hour meeting about this.
Yeah.
I just put the sign up and let's go. Because I really do think people just want good food in a warm environment, and they want to be taken care of and remembered.
Service. Yeah.
And that's, to me, what I get paid to do.
Yeah.
So
it's the interaction with somebody in the food quality, right? I mean, that's what speaks for itself.
Yeah, and I don't want to. It's pizza. I don't want to. I pick on Suerte a lot because it is the most beautiful restaurant, in my opinion. And I don't want to walk into Suerte and your expectations are here.
Yeah. And
I have to meet that every time. I don't want that stress. I'm lazy, man. I want you to walk into a black building with death metal blasting. I always envisioned it when we were in the truck. You're walking up to this black trailer blasting death metal, and my brother and I are working. And you're with your parents maybe, and you're like, this is the best pizza in town? This is the best you guys have? And then you eat it, and you're like, wow, that was really good. Yeah. We started from here. So, I like that.
Yeah.
So I don't want your expectations to be so high. It's just pizza.
Yeah.
And I want you to come in and eat the pizza, enjoy it, get treated right, and be pleasantly surprised how great everything was.
Yeah.
There is something to say. I mean, coming from the design portion of it and trying to make sure that the experience is correct. There is something very true about what you said. some of it is ego driven. Not and maybe it's you're ego driven is
it's
is
not like
the right
outwardly
word,
driven or ego,
but there's something to be said about the simplicity of the moment, right? And then hearing you guys as a client and understanding what makes the pizza or what makes you make the pizza, and that distilling that down to the simplest thing that you can means that maybe that green is good, or maybe the black is, it's like, it's not overthinking what it is you're trying to do.
Yeah.
Or knowing when you're done or when it's good enough. And good enough is never a word that I appreciate, because you want it to be perfect in all arenas. But I don't know. It's hard to achieve in a design world when things are subjective.
Well, and the other thing too is, because this is what we're trying to do with Murray's, right? We have these ideas of what we want the bar to look like. It's a New York City tavern, so you go to PJ Clark's, Minette's Tavern in New York, and these places have been around for 100 years. So we want all this nice woodwork detail, but also it needs to be able to scale. That's the other thing too, is when you bring in designers and architects, they tend to, I say overthink it, but they are making it special for what it is. But also, I need special, like, once a month.
That's right.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing I try to be mindful of, is this concept have to scale. I can't go looking for this crazy light that you sourced one time every time we want to build a new restaurant. So that's always back of mind too, is can this thing pick up in scale? Can a private equity person come in and look at this and go, oh, this is easy to replicate?
Yeah.
Like, I don't want that job at Chewy's, right?
Yeah.
The hub coming up with the hub every time you build a new restaurant.
Right. Yeah.
I don't want that.
Yeah.
So it's just interesting. It's just where your brain's at, and my brain is to try and scale.
Do you take inspiration from other concepts? I mean, do you? Do you walk in and look at things and you're like, okay, or see how they're doing something? And
wait, my theory is like, you're probably the worst person to go out to dinner with, because you're like looking at, I don't know how to shut it off, and so like, I'm probably the worst person to go eat dinner with, because I'm just sitting there like, my God, like they just nailed it, Again, Home Slice at North Loop is just brilliant. Like everything in there is perfect.
Yeah.
It also took them like 3 years to build it out, and it was a massive project. But I mean, that's the sacrifice they made to build the perfect restaurant, in my opinion. And same thing, Suerte. I pick on the same restaurants because it's just, you walk in, you're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
They spent a lot of time and effort into this.
Well, you met Farrell Cabina, right?
I fucking love him.
Yeah, we had him on a few weeks ago.
Yeah, he looks great. I love his new look.
Yep.
Dude.
And we were talking about the his meticulousness and his intention, and Mark worked with Farrell years before I got involved. But I can tell you that my career, my outlook, everything changed spending time with him. He taught me a lot. But you mentioned, like, I go into a restaurant now and I'm looking at like HVAC vent placements and like switch placements and stuff. Because dude, there's I could tell you a bunch of stories on how we went in and just ripped shit out of a restaurant because things weren't symmetrical, and like he was very but it made me better. It made our whole team better. But you're right. I go in a restaurant going, man, that vent should probably be over a little bit because it's not centered on the wall.
Yeah.
We had a guy that would hang decor in the restaurant. Terry.
Yeah.
He'd put it up. Farrell would come in, take it back down, put it up, move it over, reconfigure it.
Yeah.
But that was, I look back and going, man, I learned so much working with a guy like that.
Yeah.
And it wasn't only the design. I mean, it was
everything.
The food quality, the presentation of the food. He would go around and straighten up the napkin holders on the table. And dude, if we went and visited a restaurant and there was a fucking napkin on the floor, the manager would hear about it immediately. Yeah. I mean, he cared about every detail, And
is he back involved?
No.
I don't know if this is a secret. We probably should talk about Farrell's personal life, but
no. With
Torchy's, yeah.
No.
I thought I heard. I really look up to him. Yeah. He's been nice enough to meet with me a couple times and give me a little piece of his brain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Happy birthday. Today's his birthday.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Oh, it is?
Yeah. Happy birthday, Farrell.
Big fan of him.
But and it just goes back to caring, and you can tell. You know, I was in your East 6th location 3 nights ago now. And you can tell that there was intention. There's like it's a cultivated experience, you know, and the food's great, right?
Yeah,
so it's
I hope.
no, it was good.
Yeah, I want the service. Like, hopefully, when you sat down, they'll ask you, was it your first time there, right?
Yep.
And that is to trigger 2 things, right? You'll say yes. That saves them to have to go over everything so you know what you're doing. I don't need to bother you.
Yeah.
But if you say no, it triggers a bunch of things, like. Or you say it is your first time. I'm sorry, and they'll walk you through the whole menu. It doesn't matter how busy it is. Slow everything down. I don't want you to get caught up in the tornado going on behind me.
Yeah,
I'm here to take care of you. So let's take a deep breath and you know, because it can get crazy in there. And then you know there are to. I know we don't do this all the time, but they are to let a manager know it's your first time, so the manager will stop by and introduce themselves. Yep. And then the manager has both the server and the manager have the freedom to do whatever they want with you now. They can give you a free cheese bread, give you cinnamon sticks. If you ordered a bar style, give you a free Detroit style because you shouldn't leave without trying it. Just all these little things. And now we really get to hone in on you for the next hour, knowing that it's your first time. And that's the best time to wow someone, right?
Yeah.
So then we hope that you leave going, wow, that was incredible. Like they made me feel like I was the most important thing in the world. And you hopefully go tell, you know, 5 or 10 people about your experience. So yeah, it's the service is very intentional. I would say the design is too, but it is, I'm like the opposite of Farrell, honestly. I don't care. Yeah. I mean, give me a box and give me an oven, and I want you to take care of you.
Some of the restaurants that we've done, they've been very intense because of the level of care all the way around, right? And it doesn't. I'm not even really talking about design so much as it relates to the experience from when you walk in the door to when you sit in your seat, to when you go to the bathroom, to when you order a drink, and and the intention that requires, or the attention is real interesting because we don't really process through those things through the majority of our work. And it's even, you know, we would set up chairs and tables and where the plate would sit on the table. And we're not talking about design. We're talking about the experience. Right. And I thought, man, this is it's an intense process because you want to nail that service or that moment. And then you're right. You capture them for a good solid hour. What are those steps that you're trying to think through in order to make that event happen just right? And it could be white or black or yellow or purple. That's not really the discussion, but some of those in terms of like the intimacy that you provide is real important. And anyway, whenever you start packaging up new concepts, what are the key elements that you make sure that what's that common thread, you know, between each one that you have success with?
One of the things that I definitely wanted at Via and my brother too was when you get out of your car, I want you to get blasted with sound. So again, at the east side, you should be able to hear it from the sidewalk. I want you to walk by so much foot traffic in most of our restaurants where you like, what is going on in there? Is there a party going on in there? And you get the same level of music when you walk in, and same thing when you go to the bathroom. That party, like, so we've definitely upgraded speakers in the bathrooms before to keep this like in a high energy thing going. But yeah, again, mine's more on the service side. I would probably just hire out that kind of stuff that you're talking about because that's not where I'm. Again, I don't want to get pizza too dainty where you're like, you know, got to get the plate just right. I mean, again, it's served on metal plates. And, you know, but again, there's little things. I want the silverware to have a little bit of weight to it. So many people buy that cheap silverware, especially if people eat pizza. I don't want it to like bend your silverware trying to cut our pizza. So there's little subtle things again, but nothing like from a design standpoint too much.
You're cool with somebody eating pizza with a fork and knife?
I do. Yeah, I have to with my beard, man. Get saucy.
I always feel that's how I was eating yours the other night. I always feel like people look at me like, what's
I feel that too.
What's this fucking guy doing eating pizza with a fork? I don't know.
That's true.
To each his own, man.
I can't. I'll get it in my beard, and I got to go home and take a shower.
You mentioned, your focused on scaling now with these other concepts, like what are the key elements that you look for if you're going to get involved with something that you're like, okay, this could scale or it could not? Like, what are those things?
Yeah, I don't mean to make it sound not as thought out. Probably is what you're looking for. I just want to do cool shit with cool people, honestly. And then they come to me and go, "Do you think it can scale?" And I'll just, my experience with Via, just go, "This is what we need to do." Be mindful of, right? Like one food purveyor, we shouldn't have 3 or 4 different food purveyors that can pick up and go with us. We need to have all the meats sourced nationally, not locally. Sorry, like I know that's not popular, but that if we're going to be able to put this in Denver, we can't be buying local food all the time.
Yeah,
because it needs to be the same experience no matter where you go. And then again, on the design standpoint, just not being so precious about finding light bulbs and tables and chairs, and everything needs to be in stock and ready to go.
Yeah.
Silverware, everything has to be in stock. So just being mindful of that kind of stuff that can, I've learned from Savory, some of the adjustments they've made to our brand so it could scale a little bit faster and easier.
Do you find whenever you're thinking about new concepts, do you find that that you're looking for the team to do that with, because that collaboration is a joy versus like not necessarily, I don't want to like dumb down the product, but the product, which one do you?
Well, I mean, this is, Murray's is my first thing, probably like big thing outside of Via. And again, it was just, it's my partners from Nickel City, partner from Juniper that we own Uncle Nicky's together. And then, and our real estate guy. So we're all it's really just friends being friends, hanging out.
Can you tell us more about Murray's? Like what is it?
It's a New York City tavern. So I bought the building, and then I was trying to find a tenant for the building, and but I wanted to have like a partnership. Like, listen, let's just keep each other honest. I'll keep you honest on the bar side. You keep me honest on the real estate side. But I want to partner in the land, and I want to be a partner in the business because, not to get into my finances, I don't need. I need money like day to day, not. I have enough nest eggs put out, but I need the money coming in day to day. So that was the idea. Was like if I could cut the partners in on the bar, on the land side of things, they could cut me in on the bar side of things, and I'll get a paycheck coming in month to month. So that was kind of the ultimate goal for me. So again, I'm not really like looking for brands or scalable things. It was more just like my friends all making each other rich.
That's cool.
Or hopefully, we'll see. It's got to hit, but so we're all in on the land. We're all in on the bar. It's a New York City tavern. So I felt like Nickel City when we did that. It's about 6 years that it set like a new bar for bars. Like what a bar could be. Like it's still a little bit of a dive bar, but you get a cocktail made correctly, but you can still get a $3 beer and a hot dog for $2, and so it's no matter what you wanted to do, you could have an expensive night or you could have a cheap night, and it was welcome to everyone. And I feel like that's been kind of replicated a lot around Austin and other markets. One bar of the year. So we were trying to think of like what would Nickel City 2.0 be? What would be the next evolution? So we took like Bartlett's, our favorite restaurant in town, and married it with Nickel City. So it should be a little bit even nicer than the original Nickel City with higher end food, but still like some cheap outputs. So you're, not turning off the service industry. You can come in and get a burger and a beer for whatever price. I don't know yet. We haven't figured that out. But so just being mindful that everyone can come in and have a good time, whether you want to act like an idiot or not. You can have a date. You can be by yourself. Everybody's welcome. So I just think it's kind of Nickel City 2.0.
Do you get really involved in the food element, or do you bring somebody in that just is gonna manage that for you? Yeah,
I did the food at Nickel City. So that's all the shit that I grew up eating: burgers, coney dogs, little sliders, and cheese sticks. So just really good bar food. But again, it sounds dumb, but I mean, we tested 40 different kinds of French fries,
Sure,
and
yeah.
40 different kinds of cheese sticks. And I'm not a chef, so that's why I have to eat so much to figure out there's like just a little taste cue that I'm looking for.
Yeah.
A bowling alley that I ate at when I was a kid or something, these
Yeah.
little memories that they spark. So we actually brought in a chef. That's the chef from Juniper. Nick is our partner on Murray's.
This might be a stupid question because I love French fries, and there's a lot of different kind of fries out there. How do you know which one to pick for that? Because it's a little bit different experience, and maybe we're getting into the weeds about food a little bit. But
No.
I'm curious about that. Like, how do you know? Is it a skinny, crunchy fry? Is it the
it's-
big fat?
I
Like,
think that's what you start with, right? It's like, what is the fry that you want, right? Who makes your favorite fry, or what is the fry that you're going after? That is the conversation we had. And I remember going to the bowling alley as a kid and getting crinkle cut fries. So at least start with crinkle cut, right?
yeah, okay.
That opens like 30 different kinds of fries because there's mixed pieces where you get little bits and long ones. There's ones that are only long ones. There's ones that are 3/4 of an inch, ½ inch, 5/8 of an inch. So and then what you want to do is you just go down to the food warehouse down there, whoever your food purveyor is, and you pull all the samples and you just fry them right there, and you go, this isn't enough potato. This is too much potato.
Wow, okay.
This one's staying crispy longer. This one's not. I mean, it really is just nerding out about French fries for like 8 hours.
That'd be my job.
Yeah, that's cool.
Sometimes
Yeah.
I'll pass up restaurants because they don't have fries.
Yeah. But like Shake Shack fries to me are close to perfect, but there's not enough potato, but they're going for the crispiness. They're not going for the potato. So like Del Rey at Nickel City is a little bit softer fry, crinkle cut, but you don't get as many crispy ones, but you get like a meaty potato, and that was important to us.
Yeah,
So it's just kind of funny. You can get a beer battered fry. You can get just a normal like McDonald's fry. So it's kind of fun to.
yeah.
That's why I'll never be skinny.
What comes first, the food or the concept?
Usually the concept. Yeah. We had Travis had baked out Murray's well in advance, and then he kind of was like, we got to get a chef in here. Brought in Nick, and then he was kind of like, what do you see? And so the two of them were kind of working out what the food would be, because it's got to be low enough where somebody that doesn't make a killing can come in and enjoy themselves, but also high end enough where if you want to come in and spend $100, you can. So should be good. We'll see.
Go ahead.
Well, I've been here since 2005, and I've seen an evolution of the restaurant industry. In all types of different patterns. But do you foresee the restaurant industry in Austin taking on a new light, or taking on a new perspective in terms of either concept or food, or changing the model in a way that we haven't?
It still feels like I feel like the food has went in the way of like the cocktails. When I first moved here in 2011, we were on that like $18 cocktail thing, and everything was real high end. And I feel like the food has went in that direction. There hasn't been a lot of new food concepts that like, where can I just get a burger and a salad and a beer and be out for $60?
Yeah, right.
And again, that's kind of where we're going for is I want to try and, I think, and my partners too, we all want to just like kind of get in when everybody is yanging.
Bring it back.
Yeah, it's like, because I'm over, I couldn't tell you last time I went to dinner in town and it wasn't $100 or $200.
Sure. Yeah.
And sometimes I just want to go like this and eat a burger and go home and be out $20.
Yeah.
And it's getting harder and harder. So I do feel like everything's going super high end. Everything's an oyster bar with champagne, and
Yeah, that's what I was hoping you would say.
Yeah.
Is it, I also thought that it's taken it to another level, and it's
great because we got like a real city with real dining options.
right. But I
also
just want the simplicity,
the
again.
underbelly. We really are missing.
Yeah.
And it feels like every week one of those places that have been around forever closes. Right?
Yeah.
So I still go to Crown and Anchor and
Yeah.
get my burger. And
Yeah.
there's still a couple of them around, but yeah, I'd like to see a new concept come that's just like, we're not anything else than just a neighborhood bar with burgers.
Are people? You think a lot of people are trying to cater to the new, the new group that's moving into Austin?
I don't know if they're necessarily trying to cater it. I mean, it's selling, man.
Yeah.
These places are packed.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've tried to get in a Sorte or Red Ash or I mean, these places are killing it.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's a market and people want it and they're giving it to them.
Yeah.
But and I like it too. There's definitely a time and place, but again, I'm just a burger and a beer guy, and it's getting harder and harder.
Is there anywhere outside of Austin that you're looking at or excited about, or that you
What, me personally or for business?
both, like to bring a concept to, or to move to, or I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, since we got bought, I don't have to live in Austin. That was part of I had to live here because we were doing so much business here. So my girlfriend and I have been exploring. We just drove Sacramento to Seattle,
Okay.
up the coast there. So we've been looking for something on the coast would be nice to live. Professionally, I mean, Murray's if it does scale, it will be pretty tight. I mean, it'll be Austin, Houston, San Antonio, maybe Dallas. Excuse me. But Via's going to do Denver, Kansas City. Well, actually, I don't think we're doing Kansas City. Denver, Vegas, Phoenix, Houston, San Antonio. So
Yeah.
that's kind of scaling. I think we'll probably end up reselling the brand again once we get to 30 or 40 restaurants. But I don't see us going too much more out of those markets. I'm really high on Asheville. I'd like to do.
Oh yeah.
Trying to get the
Nice
partners
city.
to start
I've
looking
been
at
there, yeah,
Asheville.
yeah.
It's such
Yeah,
a great
it's a cool city. Yeah.
You said Asheville?
Asheville, yeah. It feels like Austin.
Yeah, that's right.
20 years
That's what I
ago.
heard.
Yeah.
Better
Yeah.
catch it quick because
Yeah.
everybody's saying it.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, I don't know. We're trying to honestly just even travel more and see what's out there because I haven't been out a lot. I've been working
Yeah.
quite a bit. So,
Do you feel kind of like you're free now to go? Yeah, that's cool.
and that can almost be as crippling,
Yeah.
and like I can do whatever I want. Like I don't know what I want to do.
Yeah. Takes time.
Yeah.
Do you? This is a odd question, but do you miss the stress? Like, does it feel kind of like a void of like?
Definitely a void. I don't know if I miss it though. There's definitely a void. I don't know. I've been trying to, as simple as it sounds, I've been going for walks.
Yeah.
That's been filling a huge void. What my therapist told me, you want to test yourself. Go for a walk for an hour and a half without your phone, headphones, and really be alone in your thoughts for an hour with no distractions.
Yeah.
And that's been a big focus, doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so that helps fill the void because that will.
Have you done that?
Oh, I do it all the time. Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. It's hard though, man. Because
Do you go on the same walk,
do.
the pattern?
I walk Lamar to Mopac on the trail there.
I went down this rabbit hole. There's a group in I think it's just outside of Portland, where they do darkness retreats. Have you seen these?
No, I mean I
So-
heard about Aaron Rodgers doing it, but
Yeah, so I think Aaron went to this place. It's this like retreat, and it's in the mountains, and it's like this cabin that's built in the mountain,
Yeah.
and you go in there for days,
nothing.
like complete darkness.
Oh.
And you can go on YouTube and look it up, and
Yeah.
videos of the people, and they go crazy. Like 24 hours in, they're like talking to themselves and they're going nuts. And
Can't
then
get outside. You just stay in this.
You can leave if you want to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But they have a whole process where they bring you food, and you've got all the a toilet and bath, and
it's supposed to be like ultimately therapeutic, right? Like
well, like
In a
after about 36
float tank.
hours, 48 hours, people calm down, and then they're just still. I think there's like a 3-day, 4-day, 5-day. But every one of them, when they come out, they bring them out after whatever it is, and they take their things off, and they all start breaking down, starting to cry.
Yeah.
Like this is just,
I'm kind of into all that shit. I mean, I haven't done it yet, but I've been messing around with shrooms, and we grew up straight edge, so we didn't really.
Oh, yeah.
We didn't mess with anything, and now
Ooh,
that
that's a whole nother podcast.
yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, we've been messing with, or I shouldn't say we, but let them speak for themselves.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm definitely into all that
Good,
stuff and kind of figuring out. Again, I think you come from a place of privilege when you can start exploring your because you're not in survival mode anymore. You got the time to
Yeah.
the
Well, it's a beautiful thing that you found that.
Yeah.
And you're focusing on. That's really cool.
it's
So,
interesting stuff.
yeah. Well, all right. I don't know. We're kind of at the.
Any hard hitters before? Yeah, it's already
No,
been an hour.
I don't know. I think that was
you hear
good.
my stomach growling? Damn, I want some pizza.
Yeah. Well, Brandon,
I
thank
should have
you.
brought some.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, listen. Thank you very much, man. This was great.
Yeah. Thank you.
It was good to get to
Yeah, I
hear
appreciate
your story and all that. And like I said, you and I had lunch a while back, and I got to know you a little bit. And I'm really excited to to learn more and see your journey, dude. So it's amazing.
Thank you for having me, man.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it.
Thanks for bringing back the simplicity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of keep
I
trying.
really enjoy that. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, there you go. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.